Covering an area of around 7,500 square kilometres in the southern part of the Atlantic Ocean, the Falkland Islands, Islas Malvinas to the Argentinians, encompass some 778 islands. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 rated tourist attractions in the Falkland Islands. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome travel guides, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when we publish a new video. So now let's cut to the chase. And at 10, South Georgia Museum. The South Georgia Museum was originally established as a whaling museum in 1991, but has since expanded to include the history of the island. Housed in a 1916 whaling station manager's house built by whalers from Norway, the museum includes fascinating displays describing the discovery and exploration of the island, sealing, whaling, its maritime history and natural history. It also now boasts exhibits relating to the 1982 Falklands War and the British military presence. Access is usually via cruises or boat charters from the Falklands. Just to be sure, let them know you're coming. Next up, at 9, South Georgia Island. South Georgia Island, also a UK overseas territory, is located 862 miles east of the Falkland Islands. A land of snow-covered mountains and glaciers, the island has no permanent residents. However, it does maintain 2 British Antarctic research stations as well as a museum. The island's main attractions are its natural beauty and bountiful wildlife, in particular the 2 million fur seals that lay claim to the island each summer. It's also where you'll find half the world's population of southern elephant seals, who come here to breed each year. Millions of penguins also inhabit the island, along with approximately 250,000 albatross and numerous reindeer. Next up, at 8, West Falkland Island and Port Howard. West Falkland Island covers some 4,500 square kilometres and is characterised by its steep coastal cliffs and rugged hilly interior. Like East Falkland, this island boasts a rich biodiversity with 163 varieties of plants and 21 types of land birds. It's particularly popular for its wildlife and adventure tours. The island's main settlement is Port Howard. This major sheep farming community offers a variety of reputable accommodation options, including quaint farm guest houses as well as bed and breakfasts. Port Howard is a great place to explore on foot. Highlights of a walking tour include a small museum with war relics and exhibits related to sheep farming. It's also a convenient base from which to explore the surrounding hills. Particularly popular for hikers is Mount Maria, the island's 3rd highest peak. It's also a popular fishing destination, especially for its trout. At 7, East Falklands Small Villages. Venturing outside of Stanley and exploring East Falkland's other, even smaller communities is an adventure in itself. Port Louis, under an hour's drive away on the north coast, is a good base from which to explore the surrounding area with its spectacular scenery and colonies of penguins. Salvador is one of the less visited settlements, but is also great for wildlife viewing, particularly penguins, elephant seals, sea lions and a variety of shore and inland birds. If horses are your thing, the tiny hamlet of Darwin, named of course after Charles Darwin who surveyed the island, boasts a small racecourse. Trekking adventures are also offered. Next up at 6, Cemeteries and Monuments. Stanley's old cemetery includes a number of interesting tombstones with inscriptions providing a glimpse into the lives of the early pioneers. The Cross of Sacrifice on the north side of the cemetery is a memorial to the Falkland Islanders killed in World War I and World War II. Another military monument of note is Victory Green, a World War II memorial and the scene of an annual parade on the Queen's birthday. The mast of the SS Great Britain also stands on the green. The world's first iron-hulled passenger ship, now fully restored and on display in Bristol, spent a number of years languishing offshore here before being raised and towed back to Britain. Also of note is the Battle Memorial on the grounds of Government House. This memorial commemorates the famous sea battle that took place here in 1914 between the German and British navies, one of the first naval conflicts of World War I. Stanley is also where you'll find the 1982 Liberation Memorial, a tribute to the soldiers and civilians who lost their lives during the Falklands War. And now at 5, the historic Dockyard Museum. The historic Dockyard Museum, part of the Falkland Islands National Trust, is a must-visit attraction in Stanley. Since it opened in 2014, this excellent museum has focused on the island's rich maritime history. Highlights include exhibits and displays containing historic artifacts such as ship figureheads and items related to fishing, the main regional industry. Other interesting things to see are a fine natural history section, including a collection of bones and fossils, as well as a great deal of information related to the island's connection to nearby Antarctica. The museum complex consists of a variety of interesting buildings too. These comprise a storehouse and blacksmith shop, as well as some buildings that house decorations of farm equipment, traditional musical equipment, and radio and telecommunications equipment. Also of interest are the displays focusing on the 1982 war with Argentina. It was near here that the British task force came ashore. And now at 4, Christchurch Cathedral and Whalebone Arch. Pretty little Christchurch Cathedral, the world's southernmost Anglican cathedral, was consecrated in 1892. A visit here should top your list of things to do when in Stanley. Designed by Sir Arthur Blomfield, it's one of the few stone buildings in the Falkland Islands. The cathedral grounds are where you'll find the unique Whalebone Arch, made from the jaws of 2 massive blue whales in 1933. It was designed to commemorate the centenary of British rule. Standing beneath these impressive bones is certainly a humbling experience, and an ideal Falklands selfie opportunity. Well, what else? And next up at 3, it's Stanley. Located on East Island, Stanley is the capital of the Falkland Islands. It's also the island's major population centre and is home to more than 2,000 people. Built on a north-facing slope to maximise exposure to the sun, many of the city's quaint wood-clad homes are painted bright colours, with corrugated iron roofs, and overlook picturesque Stanley Harbour. Visitors particularly enjoy the very English flavour of Stanley, which boasts iconic red phone boxes and a handful of old inns. A pleasant day can be spent exploring the streets on foot, taking in such sights as the many marine and military monuments, many of them dedicated to the Falkland War. Also worth including on your Stanley sightseeing itinerary are the Victorian-era police station, as well as a variety of municipal structures, such as the post office and court buildings. Another highlight includes visiting the Jubilee Villas. These attractive old homes were built in 1887 to commemorate Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee. Also of note are the 150-year-old colonists' cottages on Pioneer Row and the Tabernacle, a Victorian church built in 1892. The city is also home to some excellent shopping, as the Falklands are famous for their leather and woolen goods. Afterwards, few experiences can match dining at one of the harbourside cafes or restaurants. And now at 2, the Penguins of Volunteer Point. Located 2 hours by sometimes bumpy road from the capital of Stanley, Volunteer Point is a great place to get in some memorable wildlife watching. The big draw on this East Island location are the king penguins. Once nearly extinct, some 1,200 breeding pairs share a colony at Volunteer Point, although the area is also an important habitat for Gentoo and Magellanic penguins. Other native wildlife you're likely to spot, and bring your binoculars if you have some, include steamer ducks and white-bridled finches, as well as sea lions. And finally, at number 1, Falkland Island wildlife. Wildlife in general and nature are what most visitors to the Falkland Islands come to see. Along with its famous colonies of penguins and albatrosses, sea lions and elephant seals, 15 species of whales, dolphins and a wide variety of birds, approximately 200 species of them, can be found throughout the islands. 2 bird species, the Cobb's wren and the Falkland flightless steamer duck, are both unique to the Falklands. Probably the most popular creatures here, however, are the island's 6 varieties of penguins. These include king, gentoo, rockhopper, macaroni, royal and the Magellanic penguins. While they can be seen in various locations across the islands, the most popular locations to see them are Gypsy Cove or Volunteer Point. A variety of tour options offer well-organised life outings, so be sure to make arrangements prior to your arrival. There are also some unique insects living on the islands. These include the Queen of the Falklands fritillary butterfly, along with 170 native flowering plants, 14 of which are found nowhere else in the world. And there you have the top 10 rated tourist attractions in the Falkland Islands. Did you like what you saw? Let us know in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fantastic travel guides. So see you next time.